Honda believes in the power of dreams, and as Einstein put it, imagination is more powerful than knowledge. Welcome to Tech in the Car. In this video I'm going to test the range on the Honda E Advance. So this car, as I start off this journey, has a range of 106 miles. The battery is at 99%, fully charged. I charged it on a home charger just with a 3-pin plug, and it's got 106 miles, and we will see how it goes. I'm going to drive just like I did with the EC4 to London and then back again, and we'll see how we do. I'm aware of some feedback regarding the EC4 that I didn't drive in eco mode, and I welcome that feedback. Please keep giving me feedback. I love it. I want to make everyone happy that watches my videos. This car does not have an eco mode, it only has a normal mode, but I do have the regen braking on now in its highest setting, so I'm going to drive it like that. When I get onto the motorway, I will use the adaptive cruise control and the lane assist. It's been a nice day today, probably the nicest day so far for weeks and weeks and weeks here in the UK, and it hasn't been particularly windy, which is good. When I was charging the battery, 106 miles is the highest I've seen it go. This car has a 35.5 kilowatt hour battery, and its WLTP range is around 120 to 130 miles. So I've never got it charged that high. Now, just remember, this car is a city car. It's designed to be used in the cities, in the towns, like it is here, where you drive around and then at the end of the day you plug it in front of your house. And only if you're going longer distances do you have any need to use a rapid charger. And I love this car. I have to be honest, this car is amazing. I love the design, I love the technology, I love the driving, I love everything about this car. This is by far and away my favorite electric car that I've driven. Yes, okay, it's not great for long distance journeys, but it's not meant to be, and I would happily buy one of these. In fact, you know, may even buy one of them actually, because I think it would be awesome to have one of these. And I really like this dark blue color that we have too on here, metallic blue. So let's see how the journey goes up to London and how this compares to my experiences with the EC4. I've been driving 14 miles so far, and the range is now 97 miles. So we started at 106, it's now 97, so we've done about 9 miles of real world range out of 14. So far, like the EC4, my actual amount of range used is actually less than the distance I've driven, which is a good start for this journey. We'll see how it progresses on the way. Be honest with you, I expect I will need to stop and charge this car, because I have been driving it around and I know that it's going to run down probably before I get to London, but we'll see, because it's never been starting with 106 miles after charging, so I could be wrong and we could have quite a bit left when we get to where we're going. We will see, but I will definitely have to charge it when I get there, because I can't come back on that, no doubt about that. I'm now in London. I've got 10 miles to go until my pit stop for the night, and I've got 28 miles of range, and so far it's averaging out at 3 miles per kilowatt hour. Now, I have driven in this car, this journey, a couple of times before over the last week or so, and this has been by far the most efficient I have got so far. Remember, I started with 106 miles. I haven't started this journey with more than 96 or 97 on any other attempt I've tried, so we're doing really well. The other thing too is when I came into London from the outside on the motorway, I had 26 miles, and now I have 28 miles. So the regen braking has given me back 2 miles. Right, I'm at the destination for tonight. It's about 400 feet to my parking. So here we are, parked now for the night. I've still got 26 miles and 27% of battery. Don't forget, 14 miles ago when I came off the M23, I had 26 miles, and I have 26 miles now. So the regen braking has actually basically kept my range the same, even though I've driven an extra 13 or 14 miles, which is really, really good to see. The other thing too, this car is so much fun to park because it's small, the turning circle really, really easy. So parking this car is immense fun, and that's not even using the automated system, which is even cooler. But obviously you can't use that all the time depending on the amount of space you have. Tonight I've covered 67 miles. The car's telling me I've got 26 miles left. That's a total range of 93 miles. I started with 106 miles However, I have a feeling that the range is actually going to be more than 100 miles with whatever I drive tomorrow. I'm pretty certain I can get higher, but we'll find out then. So in total, 26 miles of range remaining, 26% of battery remaining. And when I traveled into London from the M23, I had 14 miles left to go, and the total amount of miles on range left was 26, and I'm still at 26, and I've averaged out 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I'll drive it until it's empty so I can keep everyone happy who told me that's how I should have done the EC4 test, and we'll see what we end up with tomorrow. But remember, this is a city car and it's not designed for long drives. Welcome back to the Honda E Advance. It's a new day. I've got 23 miles of range. So now I'm gonna take this car into the city, which is where it's meant to be used. And we're gonna go up to Wimbledon, first of all, to get some lunch. And then after that, we're gonna head in to the center of London and we'll see how long those 23 remaining miles last before I need to charge up. Here we are in Wimbledon now. We've got 20 miles of range remaining. We've got 20% of battery remaining, 3.6 miles. There is a charging point just here on the side here, BP Pulse 50 kilowatt. So now we're gonna get some lunch because I'm hungry. And we will see how the car then holds up, continuing on towards central London, where we're gonna go into and pay a visit to Buckingham Palace and drive around a bit of central London until we need to stop again. We have 20 miles of range left and 19% of battery. So we're now parked here in Wimbledon, 19% battery left, 20 miles of range left. Should be more than enough to get us into central London, which is no more than probably 5 miles away, and go around and maybe even get back to Wimbledon again. So let's find out. Had my lunch now and onwards to Buckingham Palace. Right now we have 16 miles of range left, 16% of battery left, and again I'm in regen braking mode. So it's 8.1 miles to Buckingham Palace from where I am right now, and we got 17 miles, so I should be able to go there and come back on the range. But it's approaching a really busy time of the day here in London, and so even though it's only just under 8 miles now, it will probably take me a good hour to get there, maybe another hour to get back, and so we're going to be sitting in traffic. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to the battery and at what point do I need to stop and charge it. Will it be when it's, I've got 5% left? Do I need to do it before then? So let's just see how it goes. On the left of me here is Wimbledon Tennis Court Stadium, where the Wimbledon Tennis Championships are played every year. It's April now, so we'll see if it goes ahead in June. I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro because the GoPro's on the other side of the car. I wonder if we can find a gate we can test the turning circle of this car out on. There we go, there we go. Turn around here. And that's Wimbledon for you. Interestingly enough, the petrol light just popped on, just like if you had a normal petrol car, and it's telling me that I have 14 miles now of range to go, and I should basically fuel, or I guess charge up the car. Now I'm not obviously going to charge it yet, we're going to keep going and we're going to see how far we can get. When there's maybe a mile left to range, at that point I will find a charging point. But we should still be able to get to Buckingham Palace because it's now 6.5 miles away and we've still got 15 miles of range. Quick update on our status. We've got 4.3 miles to Buckingham Palace and we've got 13 miles range remaining, and the battery's at 12%, and we've averaged 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour since we started driving here in London. We're driving along the embankment here by the River Thames. Got a nice view even though it's a rainy day. We're now at the Houses of Parliament. You can see them on the right here. And we're making our way, we're going to go past Downing Street as well in a minute. And we're going to end up, hopefully, very soon at Buckingham Palace as well. But here we go, Houses of Parliament being worked on, lots of scaffolding, and you'll notice many bikes, couriers, takeaway, delivery, etc. going up and down. There's a load of police cars over on my left, you probably can't see them. But there are a lot of them over here, which you would expect outside House of Parliament. Big Ben on the right here, again, also in scaffolding. Everything seems to be scaffolding. Now, I don't need to tell you that this is a city car. That's what Honda E has been designed for. Well, it's small, it's got a tight turning circle of 4.3 meters, which is about half that of a London taxi, and it's really nimble. And in the city here, driving between the narrow road, dealing with the traffic, it's fantastic to drive. Right in front of me now, Trafalgar Square. Welcome to central London. You can see all the red buses going around. We're turning left here towards Buckingham Palace, which is our last stop on this journey. 7 miles of range left, 6% battery remaining, 0.7 of a mile to Buckingham Palace before we turn around and go back. So now we're gonna go down the mall straight towards Buckingham Palace. You should be able to see it in front of us. Well, we've made it. We're at Buckingham Palace. It's just in front of me here. We're gonna go around the roundabout and then we'll head back towards Wimbledon. We've had a nice scenic route of London. We've seen House of Parliament, Big Ben, sorry about the scaffolding. We've seen Trafalgar Square, and now we're here at Buckingham Palace. What more could you want? I suppose you could want a nice sunny day, but this is England, it's always raining here. We're now in tortoise mode, which means it's time to find a charging station, because I'm not going to take this right down to 0, but it's fair to say we've got 6 miles left. Chances I could get back to Wimbledon, but let's find a charging point now. I have 4 miles of range left. I've got 4% of battery left. I'm going to stop at the rapid charging just here behind Leicester Square. Finally, I've stopped. I'm at St Martin's Lane Hotel car park under Covent Garden. There's a BP Pulse here. So a slight negative thing about this BP Pulse, there's no option to use it as a guest. You have to be a member or use the app, but being 4 stories down underground or 3 stories, there's basically no signal. So luckily there was just about enough Wi-Fi reception for me to use the app, but this would not work without the app. So be aware, some BP Pulse charging points won't work unless you have the membership card, and they will absolutely rely on you having an internet connection, which you may not have if you're in an underground car park in central London. At 2%, I had to stop and charge. The nearest charging place was in under Covent Garden, which is where I am. So here I am, I'm charging the car now. In total, I did about 90 miles from Eastbourne to London, into the centre of London, via Wimbledon. We visited Wimbledon, we visited the Houses of Parliament, we visited Trafalgar Square, we visited Covent Garden where we are now, we've seen Buckingham Palace, we've had a nice scenic drive around London. Driving around the city, this car is fantastic. The tight turning circle, comfortable suspension. It's an amazing car, and it's exempt from congestion charging too, being an electric car. So it's an awesome car. I really love this car. I love the mirrors, I love the design, I love the tech. It's by far and away my favorite car I've driven to date on this channel, and I would certainly buy one of these. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Whether it will be my next car, who knows, but it's definitely got a very high vote from me as an all-round package. It's a fantastic car. In terms of range, 90 miles isn't at all bad. The range when I started, it said was 106 miles. I probably could have gone a bit further as well, even though it was at 2% when I stopped here. It might have been able to go another 5 or 6 miles. So we may have got closer to 100 miles. But, you know, I got from outside of London, 70 miles into central London, another 20 miles. That's a pretty good round trip for me. No problems there, and it's been lots of fun to drive. Unfortunately, I won't get back to Wimbledon without charging the car, and so I'm going to stop the video here because there's no point in me showing driving back to Wimbledon on a full charge. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Please comment down below if you have any questions, and please consider subscribing. It's free and it really helps me out. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe. Bye bye.